Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. Today we're going to talk about H-1Bs and what you need to do to get one. As you may know, all of the H-1Bs are used up for this year, but the time to submit the H-1Bs again is quickly coming. It'll be April 1st, and once it's submitted, you're going to ask for a start date of next October. Now, last year, for the first time in several years, all the H-1Bs were used up, and making it so that you had to wait, or so that you either had to apply for another type of status. So now would be the good time for you to find an employer to sponsor you for the H-1B. Now, how do you do that? Well, you have to find an employer that needs the degree that you have. So, I can be creative and find ways of getting a proper petition for you. So, for example, let's say you have an accounting degree. Well, any employer can use you with an accounting degree, because every employer needs an accounting. But let's say you had an electrical engineering degree. You're not going to be working at Macy's with an electrical engineering degree, so it has to be related. Now, there's 65,000 H-1Bs for the year, and then there's 20,000 advanced degree H-1Bs. So if you have a master's, then that might be the way to go. But keep in mind that with H-1Bs, you have to pay the prevailing wage, and so if you require a minimum of a master's, that's going to be all the more higher. Now, with an H-1B, you don't have to work full time. So if your employer says, well, I only have X amount of money to pay you, then just figure out how much the employer is willing to pay, and then maybe you get an H-1B for 20 hours, for 15 hours, and you can actually get a couple H-1Bs. There's no requirement. You only work for one employer. So the way you want to do it is make sure you have in the envelope ready to go, the FedEx envelope, on the last day of March, so that it goes out the door on April 1st, because assuming the economy comes back a bit, and also in consideration the H-1Bs ran out last year, you want to make sure you're in that first batch. It hasn't happened in some time, but several years ago, the way it would work every year is, April 1st would come, everybody would file their H-1Bs, and within 10 days they were all gone. So you don't want to be in a position where you are wishing that you filed it sooner because they were all used up. Okay? So if you have any questions, let me know. More on the